I want to check which one of the 4 upgrades, combat shield, Stim Pack, +1 attack and +1 armor, is the strongest one for Marines when fighting Zealots. So I created 24 Marines and 12 Zealots. This is equal supply and equal upgrades. And I gave the Marines the combat shield upgrade, no other upgrades, and the Zealots also don't have any upgrades. And we're going to take this fight and see who is going to win. Attack. Alright, and with the combat shield upgrade it's a win for the Marines with 10 Marines remaining. Now I'm disabling the combat shield upgrade and I'm activating Stim Pack on the Marines. And we're going to restart the fight. Attack. Stim. Alright, it's again a win for the Marines with 13 Marines remaining. Now I'm disabling the Stim Pack and I'm activating the +1 infantry attack upgrade for the Marines. We're going to repeat the fight. Attack. +1 attack. Alright, and with a +1 attack we have 9 surviving Marines. And for the final upgrade I'm disabling the attack upgrade on the Marines and I'm activating the +1 armor attack on the Marines. And again we're going to press attack and see how the fight is going to end. And by the way, if you like this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you, my friends. Attack. Alright, and with the armor upgrade on the Marine we have 7 Marines surviving. And I also wanted to check the case when the Marines don't have any kind of upgrade. So now I'm disabling the infantry armor upgrade. So the Marines now don't have any kind of upgrades. And again we're going to see how the fight is going to end. Very interesting. It's much closer this time. So yeah, without any upgrade on the Marines, actually the Zealots win with 3 Zealots remaining. So according to this simulation, the Stim Pack upgrade is by far the strongest one for the Marines. But why is that? We're going to take a look at the Excel sheet. And we start with the combat shield upgrade. So the Marine with combat shield has 55 HP and the Zealot has a damage of 16. This means that it takes 4 Zealot hits to kill the Marine. The Zealot has a cooldown of 0.86 and I then calculated the lifespan of the Marine if attacked by the Zealot. This is 3.5 seconds. The Marine has a damage of 6 and a cooldown of 0.61, which means that the Marine has a DPS of 9.84 in this scenario. I then multiplied the Marine lifespan with the Marine DPS and I got this here. This is the Marine damage output until the Marine dies. Okay, so the Marine damage output until the death of the Marine with combat shield is 33.8. I then did the same calculation for the other upgrades. So with Stim, you have a Marine that has only 35 HP after stimming, but the cooldown of the Marine is lower, so the Marine has a much higher DPS, and therefore, although the Marine lifespan is shorter compared to combat shield, with the Stim you have a higher total damage output of the Marine, because the Marine lives for a shorter time, but its damage output is still higher. Then with +1 attack, it's essentially the same calculation, but now the Marine does 7 damage. So this means that the Marine damage output until the Marine dies is 29. And with plus armor, it's again essentially the same calculation, but now the Zealot doesn't deal 16 damage. The Zealot only deals 14 damage, because if the Marine has 1 armor, the Zealot has a double attack. This means that the 1 armor is subtracted from each of the 2 attacks from the Zealot. So the Zealot does 14 damage per hit. This means that, again, it takes a little bit longer. It takes 4 hits to kill the Marine. The damage of the Marine is still 6. And we see that the Marine damage output until the Marine dies is 33. And I also did the same calculation for none of the upgrades. And you see that the average damage output of the Marine until the Marine dies is 25.38. And now we can compare this number here, the damage output of the Marine, to see how strong the Marine is with each of these upgrades. And we see that with Stim Pack, the total damage output of the Marine is the highest one. With no upgrades is obviously the lowest one. And then this +1 attack total damage output is also pretty low. And these are somewhere in between. But it's now obvious to see that according to this simulation, the Stim Pack should be by far the strongest upgrade. And then I noted the winner of the simulation. So this was the Marine for the 4 upgrade simulations and the Zealot for the simulation without upgrade. And we actually see that my calculations are able to predict the outcome of the fight quite well, but not perfectly. So we see that Stim has the highest total damage output. And we saw that in the simulation, Stim was the strongest upgrade for the Marine. Then the next one is Shield. Shield is also the second highest according to my calculation. Then this of course doesn't really fit, because according to my calculation we would expect armor to be a little bit stronger than attack, but attack turned out to be a little bit better in the simulation. There's also always a little bit of randomness in the simulations. And of course, the non-upgrade has by far the lowest total damage output, and the without any upgrade situation was also the only situation in which the Zealot won. Okay? And as a bonus, I also wanted to check how does the outcome of the simulation change when the Zealots got the charge upgrade. So now the Zealots have charge, and again, we start with the Marines with combat shield and no other upgrades. Now we're going to press attack and see how it ends. Attack. Oh yeah, it looks like charge is pretty strong. So with the combat shield upgrades on the Marines and the charge upgrades on the Zealot wins with 7 Zealots remaining. We repeat it with Stim. I'm activating Stim. Zealots still have charge, and we're going to press attack. Stim. Yeah, this is a bit surprising. The charge is actually pretty strong. Again, the Zealots win, this time with 6 Zealots remaining. Disabling Stim Pack, I'm activating +1 attack for the Marines. And again, I'm pressing start. Yo, and the Zealots win again, this time with 7 Zealots remaining. Disabling the attack upgrade and activating +1 armor on the Marines. And press attack. Yo, and the Zealots win with 6 Zealots remaining. And the final simulation, I'm disabling the armor upgrades. The Marines now don't have any upgrades, and we're going to take the fight. Attack. Yo, and it's a pretty hard win for the Zealots with 8 Zealots remaining. Yo, and I also added the result with Zealot charge to the Excel sheet, and you can see that with charge actually the Zealots win against the Marines, against all the upgraded Marines. So this is pretty surprising. I didn't expect to be charge this strong, but it is pretty strong. Alright dudes, that's it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.